right, everybody. Welcome to the eye test. I have hijacked the show, at least the intro part of this. I told Mark, sit back, relax. You know what I'm saying? Watch how a pro gets down. Maybe you learn a thing or two. You know. But yeah, you have me, Shawn, one of the co-hosts, and you also have Mark. You see how that works, Mark? I said Mark. I said Shawn. I use one name for both of us. You see how that works?
Yeah, Sean. That's Sean redacted for those out there
No,
that
no,
don't
no,
know.
no, 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 no. They know who I am. My name is Shawn. Your name
Sean,
is Mark.
Sean
Now, if
redacted.
I were to give myself a last name, then I would give you a last name, Mark. You see how that works? How it's just an even thing there.
What?
But that's cool.
What would
So
that be?
thank you guys for joining us here at the eye
What would
test.
my last
You
name
know,
be? Would it be Mark the Floss God?
what? Boy, if you don't, you know what? I'm in charge here right now. So you just relax, okay? But how have you been, Mark? How was your weekend?
I was.
How was your
Hey,
past week, man?
it was chilling, man. No football because Super Bowl coming up, so it was uh it was somewhat relaxing, I guess, if you were to say. I was able to hang out with the family and get some stuff done because I did.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. Anytime there's any little break in football action, you know what I'm saying, it just brings you down just a little bit, just a
It
notch.
does.
You know what
Definitely
I'm
definitely
saying?
does. I'm not happy that it's about to come to an end, but I am looking forward to see what's going to happen this off season. This off season seems like it might get a little crazy.
Yeah. You know what? And since we're talking about football right now, I mean, I'm not going to take more time trying to take jabs at you, my co-host, in the same fashion that you would if you were bringing in the intro, Mark. So I'm going to take the high road. Show the viewers and the listeners, give them a little taste of class, something that they've been lacking with these intros, but
Mm.
we'll go ahead. We're gonna jump straight into something that I didn't think I was gonna bring up. NCAA football. I know this is video game topic, but it's a topic on this show because as of right now, EA has announced that they're going to bring back what they said college football. Okay, the title is not NCAA. Obviously, if you've been following anything dealing with the reason why there was an absence of the video game is because of the player licensing and them not being paid for the likenesses in the games. Right now, the right now they plan on making this game. They're clearly trying to figure out the licensing situation. They have the licensing for the schools already for 100 schools. Now the question is, are the other players going to get paid for the likeness?
Well,
As it sits right now, there might not even be a plan for their likeness to be in the game. So I'm trying to figure out how they're going to weave their way around this. If they're just going to have the jersey numbers and they're going to make the players look different and then not use their name. But all in all, it seems the biggest issue lies in the fact that certain states are allowing the players to get paid, like Florida and California, and other states are not allowing the players to get paid, for the use of their likeness. So, Mark, my question to you would be, what are your thoughts on this, and do you feel like this is something positive or negative for the players?
well, um, I honestly gotta look. I have to look into that more about because I could have sworn that that was a all around thing that now players were allowed to get paid for their likeness and licensing and all that stuff.
They can use their name to get paid.
Yeah,
That I don't know if they're allowed to get into an agreement with EA Sports for them to use the likeness since they're wearing the college jersey and they're wearing the number.
uh,
I think that's a thing that where they have to go through the schools
uh,
as to do it.
so so basically they're like you could do anything that doesn't have to do with the school and make money off your name and likeness now. But if it has to do with the school, only we can make money off of you. You can't make money off of you. Got it.
Yes, yes, which was the issue that
Listen, man.
the YouTuber destroying. That's the issue he ran into in Central Florida, where it was like, look, you're making money off of being a football player for our school. We did not give you permission to use our school to make money.
Listen. Here's the thing. Like, here's the thing about that. To a degree, I get it with the schools and stuff because it's essentially like, if you are an employee of, like this happens with people anywhere. Like if you're an employee at ESPN, you can't run around with your ESPN stuff on promoting something that has nothing to do with ESPN. Like so, to a degree, I get it, and it's the same. And it's the same thing with the military. Like you know, what I mean, you can't go around in your uniform uh to a protest. You know what I mean? Like and being loud and outspoken at a protest about your personal views while wearing your military uniform because you represent another platform, and so essentially it's like saying they represent whatever you're talking about as well when that's not the case. So I get it from that standpoint, but when it comes to something like the college football game, like no, that anybody that would be trying to hold a player from making money in a college football game, that would be absolutely ridiculous because you're saying you can make money off of it, but you saying you the school can make money off of it, but the player can't. It's like Robin Hood right now, man. Like,
Yeah.
hedge funders can do whatever the fuck they want. They can create create short squeezes and all that. But you the everyday guy, no, don't you can't jump into these waters.
Yeah.
So
So, and just to clarify what I was talking about with the Florida and California thing, they're allowed to pay their players. If the school decides to give the players a salary,
mhm,
then they can do that.
right,
So, the yeah, across the board, people like so like with this deal, I'm sure the schools are going to get paid through this. So I understand the school's interest in the game and
mhm,
making the game, and I understand EA's interest in making the game, considering how bad Madden's been doing. So I understand that it works out for those two. I'm just concerned about what it means for the players, and I guess as more details come through, we'll figure out whether or not the players are actually going to get their fair share of what's coming, or whether they're just going to put a bunch of nameless, faceless players with jersey numbers out there for the video game in a way to not pay the players.
right.
So
Well, we will see how that works out, man. I don't know. Honestly, I think I'm just off of college in general. I'm off of college sports in general.
yeah,
Um, like this year, we discussed this before. This year was
yeah,
disgusting as far as forcing these players to play. Players are getting sick and they're not getting paid, all to advance your agenda. You're saying, well, it's for them. It's for them so they could get their recognition. Blah 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 blah. All that nonsense. When we all know that like 10 to 20% of all players, actually less than that, um, actually go to the league or go to the NFL. So all the while, because you had a football season, Nick Saban's able to make his $50 million this year, but the players aren't getting paid at all. Like so, it's all very sickening in general. Just when you actually wrap your head around it, and then and it's all under the guise of these players being quote unquote amateurs. Well, no.
mm-hmm.
Last time I
Yeah.
checked, last time I checked, Pee Wee football wasn't a $1 billion industry. You want to know why? Because Pee Wee football actually has amateurs in it. Nobody. It's
And
not.
you're being nice by saying million. We're talking billions of dollars,
Oh, did I
boy.
say million? I meant to say
You
billion.
meant billion, billion
Yeah.
dollar. Like
Yes, I meant to
the
say
schools
billion.
get paid handsomely.
Exactly. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, Pee Wee football, you're not going to really see that on TV too often. Like, it's just, it is what it is. But, like, because these are actual amateurs. Like, what we see in college football, it's not amateurs, dog. It might be, like, it's more like the minor league. It's not, these are not amateurs. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
I just, like, I'm not looking forward to it, to be honest. I kind of went on a rant there, but
No, no, I feel you. But this gray area where that is already announced, but yet we still don't know the status of the players or whether they're going to get paid or not. This
uh-huh.
is exactly why you feel the way that you
Yeah, exactly.
do. So,
Exactly. Like, like, if like, I know for a fact that if they were to do the right thing, that I'll be all aboard or whatever. But I know that anytime you allow a gray area, then they're gonna try to find a way to not do the right thing. So
yeah, they're going to lean into the money and not lean into the ethics or the morality. you
exactly.
know. So yeah, okay. So that I mean that was just my little pop up one because I was thinking about that just now on the way home from work. But okay, I want to get into these. I want to get into these NFL trades, Mark.
Okay.
Um, so we got some big trades coming uh coming down the pipeline, or just one of them actually went through. So let's start there. Let's start with this Jared Goff this Jared Goff trade for Matthew Stafford. And when I say Jared Goff, what I mean is Jared Goff, 2 first round picks and a third rounder, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
All four of those things packaged up to send Jared Goff to the Lions and for Matthew Stafford to end up on the Rams.
Right.
Um, kind of a big deal. I'm gonna let you share your thoughts on this first. You go ahead, Mark.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I think of this trade first. Honestly, this trade says more about the Rams and how they feel than what it says about Matthew Stafford. This says a lot more about Jared Goff's value than Matthew Stafford's value because um, Matthew Stafford is not worth two first and a third plus a player.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that, oh, we have to give you Goff, like, so we have, like, we don't want to give you anything else. Like, Goff sucks, so we have
And
to
golf is part of the cap issue. They have
exactly.
to give something up cap wise,
Yeah, exactly.
you know?
Like, Goff, you're taking a cap hit and we're giving you a shitty player. So we have to compensate for the fact that we're giving you a shitty player that's going to cost you a lot of money. And thus, we have 2 first round picks and a third. Like that's what happened here. Like, Matthew Stafford is an upgrade from Jared Goff, and honestly, we'll see exactly how much of an upgrade he will be because um now he has two bona fide Pro Bowlers, like, that he's throwing to. All they need is a tight end, and Zach Ertz is going to be a free agent this year. So, so maybe the Rams pick up Zach Ertz, and now you got Robert Wood.
Well, I was going to say, what happened to Higby? Is this contract up or something?
No, but I'm just they don't utilize Higby now, so, like,
You're right. You're right. They don't. They don't.
so it don't matter. But I'm just saying, if they pick up Ertz, they'll still have Higby. They'll have a veteran, and they'll have Higby. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so,
Yeah.
but so they they would actually they would be in the driving seat, and Matthew Stafford would have no excuses. He would have no excuses at all. Like, it before, he had excuses of being in Detroit, going to the Rams. I think this is great for the Rams, and this actually takes away any excuses for everybody. This takes away the excuses that Matthew Stafford should have. This takes away the excuses that Sean McVay should have. So if either
Mm-hmm.
one of them comes up short this year, we're going to be looking at them cross-eyed. We're either going to be looking at Sean McVay for his play calling cross-eyed this year, or we're going to be looking at Matthew Stafford cross-eyed for his play on the field. But either way, this is that that what if factor is going to be gone for one of them. So I like the trade for the Rams. For Detroit, I like the trade because they got the picks. Like and Jared,
They need it.
yeah, they need the
I mean,
picks.
honestly, they need those picks.
Yeah, they need those picks, and Jared Goff is just kind of trash. Like, I mean, so I'm pretending he's not even in the trade, honestly. So
Yeah, okay. So for me, like you talking about who you're gonna look at cross-eyed, I'm gonna look at both of them funny if there's no success here because on one hand, you're gonna have Sean McVay, who I see is getting upgraded at quarterback.
uh-huh.
So if you had any questions, this is a new quarterback that's better. And then for Stafford, he's definitely getting a better organization as a whole and a better coach. And he's getting an offensive head coach. Like there shouldn't be an excuse for if it fails, there has to be a shared blame going to it in my mind. How now who's more to blame? That would be the question. But all in all, when I look at this trade, I see the Rams making out even with all the stuff that they gave away, they're making out for now. Mark, I'll be very clear for now because in the immediate, what you have is a team with a great defense, and you have the one place that they. I'm not going to say the one place, but the biggest uh, issue where the biggest part of their game where they're lacking, which is a quarterback play. To me, Mark, they're going to have that void filled. Now, the only question mark that I personally have is the play calling on offense and defense, but we'll see what happens with that. But they say the quarterback's the most important position on the field. They say if you get a good quarterback and you have the surrounding requisite pieces that you can make something happen, Mark. So I'm expecting something to happen. That's the standard I'm going to be holding them to this year. Um, and yes, Stafford will have the best weapons that he's had since Megatron retired.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say what didn't he have like Golden Tate and Marvin Lewis, not Marvin Lewis, but Marvin Jones or whatever at one point.
Yes, yeah,
Like this is crazy that we're talking about it like this, but this is going to be the best weapons that he's ever had in his life, collectively on one team. So I'm kind of waiting to see how this turns out. I don't have faith in the coaching staff on offense or defense. So I mean, who knows what happens, but I think there should be some level of improvement with that trade. They're always. I feel like they just print money over there. I don't know where they get their money from, but they have it. Good. The best thing that happened to them is they have Cam Akers on a rookie contract. So we'll see how that goes. The Detroit Lions, though, for their side, they have to hit on these picks, Mark. They're not really, they don't have the best track record when it comes to picks. So I'm not too excited for them for those picks. But them having Goff, like I don't know what they're expecting. I don't know what they're doing. They're absolutely losing this trade if they don't hit on these picks because I'm not expecting anything from Jared Goff. So um either way, I think this is a trade that's like I said, it's favorable to the Rams, but I don't think this trade makes the Lions contender anytime in the next 5 years. And I don't think this trade sends the Rams to the Super Bowl. So, all in all, it's just a really weird trade. I feel like the Rams gave up too much, but you know what? You go after what's available to you. So, which brings me to our next trade, Mark. If you thought that the Rams trade was ridiculous, apparently what the Houston Texans were asking for Deshaun Watson when it comes to the Rams bidding for him, they were asking for two first round picks, two second round picks, Aaron Donald, and Jalen Ramsey. Okay, that might be one of the biggest reasons why they ended up settling for Matthew Stafford. So, what are your thoughts on the asking price for Deshaun Watson there?
Um, I say that they're absolutely insane. Like, like I need the Texans to figure out who they want to be. Uh, like I need them to figure out if they want to be the team that everybody goes to get their rocks off on, like, or are you going to be the hard ass team that nobody trades with because your asking price is too ridiculous? Like I'm confused here. Like I get it that Bill O'Brien is no longer there, and maybe that's what drove you to ask for this ridiculous price here was because Bill O'Brien's not here no more, and you want to send a message out to the league that we ain't no chumps anymore. We not
You're
gonna,
not getting fleeced no more.
yeah, we not falling for the banana in the tailpipe no more. Maybe that's what you wanted to do, but I think you doth protest too much, if I should say. Like you guys need to dial it back just a bit because this is too much, man. We get it. Deshaun Watson is an amazing player, but if you were to ask for just Aaron Donald, like that, if Aaron Donald in a second would probably be the best, would probably be a good trade. You know what I'm saying? Or Jalen Ramsey in the first would probably be a good trade, but you want two firsts and both of those players. Like, mind you, you're asking for the two best players at their position. Now, at the same time, they're not a quarterback, but Aaron Donald is by far and away the best at his position, and Jalen Ramsey is also by far and away the best at his position. So you're asking for two players that are the best at their position,
Yes,
two
in the league.
in the entire league, two firsts and 2 seconds. Like, come on, I get it that you have what is considered a top 10 quarterback in the league. Some would probably argue a top five quarterback in the league. I get that, but nah, bruh, that's not gonna fly. You should have left it at two first and a second, and you would have had a everybody would have been like, oh, that's reasonable. But you want to be unreasonable and ask for some ridiculous ass thing that no way anybody in their right mind would make the trade for.
Yeah,
Uh, so
it's it's absolutely ridiculous, man. I get it, man. If you don't want to trade Deshaun Watson, just come out and say it, man. Just say he's off the table, man.
yeah,
I see this as a move just the same as they like, yeah, Deshaun, don't worry about it, man. We'll make sure you have a say in who we hire around here. And then days later, go and hire somebody without consulting him. It's like, yo, look, man, he would probably have a little bit more respect for the organization if they wasn't just lying to his face, you
like
know?
here's the thing about that. Like the organization is saying, like, well, we don't want to trade Deshaun Watson, this, that, and the third, blah blah blah. We value the player. Well, here's the thing: you may not want to trade him, but one thing you damn sure didn't do was show him that you valued him. Because if you
Exactly.
because if you showed him that you valued him, you wouldn't have told him, hey, you have some say in this, that, and the third, only for him to waste his time giving you suggestions that you never even utilize. Like
Like,
it's not even necessarily about the utilization, but you never put it into consideration because I'm pretty sure had you interviewed anybody that was on his list, then he'd be like, "Oh, okay, you interviewed them and you found out you don't like them. That's cool." But you didn't
yeah,
even. like you didn't even interview him, so he was like, "Oh, okay, I've made this list for absolutely nothing. You didn't even look that way, and you asked me about that." And it's like, well, I get it, but like you just truly don't care if you're just not even going to consider it.
No. Now, this is one thing I wanted to bring up about this because, like, I mean, the trade was ridiculous. There's no reason to try even break down why the trade was ridiculous. We know it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the intent behind it, Mark, that bothers me. And and it's not just the intent. So, like, well, let's talk about the intent. I feel like they're mad that he asked for a trade, and it's like, how you gonna be mad at him for being upset that y'all lied to him, right? So now this is a retaliation, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna hold you hostage here. So y'all don't care about y'all fans. Number one, y'all don't care about y'all players. Y'all don't care. You don't. They don't even care about the team's future, Mark, which is the biggest issue I have with this. Now, me and you, we've talked about this when it comes to playing Madden. We talked about this when it comes to fantasy football. This is something that happens in real life, I'm assuming. Guess what happens if you're somebody that's offering me a really, really shitty trade? It makes me say, I don't even want to sit down at the table with you.
Right.
You disrespected me with the trade. This trade, like I said this earlier on Facebook. I said, man, it would have been less disrespectful if they would have just walked up to the GM's face and spit in his face. Like, if they just walked up to the GM, the Rams GM, and spit in his face, it would have been less disrespectful than this trademark. So I don't know. Now, do you think that they will be able to have a working relationship with the Rams going forward from here if they want to make another trade? You know, I mean, and besides that, if I'm another team, another GM looking in on this situation from afar, this is going to discourage me from even wanting to talk to you about a trade. So like they're essentially destroying their relationships for future trades by doing this. Maybe some people don't think it's going to be that serious. I could be wrong, but I do see this as somewhat damaging to their ability to acquire players later. It's like if you if the Rams do have somebody on the table and you're interested, they're going to remember this. They're going to remember this time that you asked them for everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but Mark, I do believe it comes from a place also of they're trying to make a statement. They're walking into the prison and they're punching the biggest guy on the yard, Mark. Like, y'all think I'm a punk, but I'm gonna let y'all know I'm gonna try to do something like outrageous just to try to get you guys to back off me. You know what I'm saying? Because of the prior fleecings that happened under their watch. So, all in all, disrespectful trade. They obviously don't have any plans of trading Deshaun Watson. I did hear rumors about that earlier on the weekend, and it seems to be true based on what they were asking for. So let's get into the next possible trade rumor. You have rumors that Kyle Shanahan. I'm saying rumors. Let's just say that insiders have said that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, are actively pursuing a trade with the Vikings for Kirk Cousins.
Well, I'm gonna ask you. Like that's not my team. I'm not what I mean. I told you was attending the funeral. I mean, it's appropriate that you're wearing a black suit.
Well, I'm wearing black today.
It's appropriate. It's appropriate.
Yeah, I was gonna let you know since this is my situation. You know, I got my Niners stuff over here. Like, look, man, I'm not gonna lie, man. So my boy Devon sends me a text message with a picture, a screenshot of the article. Let me tell you something. I almost threw up on myself, Mark. She was ridiculous. I'm there, and I'm like, nah, man, this shit got to be fake. There's no way. And then I was like, okay, they must. I was like, yo, you're lying to me. You're a liar. Then I look it up and I see that it's real, and I'm like, man, these fools must want me to do another rant on Facebook. That's what it is, Mark. They want me to just wild out in here, man. So like, we pursued Kirk Cousins during his free agency. And that was when we had just hired Kyle Shanahan. He hadn't even gone to camp yet, mind you. We literally just hired him, and then it was a situation to where it's like, hey, leading into your first season, we have a quarterback situation where we don't have anybody. Who do you want to pursue? And he was like, he was all in on. Everybody thought that Kirk Cousins was going to end up with the Niners because of their past relationship from Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, look, man, he's cool and all, but I don't want him. And then we got saved. We got saved by the Vikings. The Vikings decided they want to give him a fully guaranteed contract. Thank God he saved us. Okay, they gave him. Kirk Cousins goes there. Mind you, I'm not happy with Jimmy G right now, but I don't know how other people see Kirk Cousins, but Jimmy G to Kirk Cousins is just you're getting Jimmy G, a version of Jimmy G that doesn't throw as many interceptions. That's all you're getting. It's not really an upgrade. I don't understand Kyle Shanahan's infatuation with Kirk Cousins. This is kind of a lateral move. And if you look at what Kirk Cousins does best, yes, okay, so he's a good deep ball guy, and he's good at play action. Fantastic, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. That's great. What is he going to do in the fourth quarter for me? What is he going to do in primetime games? Somebody posted a stat. I think he's like 7 and like 31 in primetime games or something like that. Like Kirk Cousins is just really bad at primetime games, big games, Sunday night, Monday night football games, playoff games. He's just not good at any of that stuff. And I'm like, we're already dealing with that with Jimmy G. So I don't understand why Kirk Cousins is on the mind of Kyle Shanahan. But I will say that I have to guess that John Lynch might not be all in on Kirk Cousins the way that Kyle Shanahan is, but because of their previous relationships, with John Lynch playing for the Broncos for Kyle Shanahan's dad, they had a childhood relationship. So, I feel like John Lynch is going to allow Kyle to still prove himself. He's going to give him the benefit of the doubt on things like this. And Mark, it disgusts me to say this, but I honestly wouldn't even be surprised if we ended up with Kirk Cousins on our roster.
Oh, don't be. Don't be.
I wouldn't.
I told you, man. Listen, I laughed. I messaged you and said I hope this happens.
Oh, I know. I'm saying I try to ignore those types of messages, Mark. I don't need that negativity in my life.
Listen. I don't wish well on the 49ers. So
I just don't understand why though. Why you don't wish well on the Niners?
I don't know.
What did the Niners do to you, Mark?
It's not what the Niners did. It's you. It's you.
You know what?
It's not me. It's you. You know what I'm saying?
It's me. It's me. Why?
Yes.
Why? I'm trying to understand why I need to be in misery for you to be happy. It just doesn't make sense.
You don't need to be in misery for me to be happy. It's just that you come at me like, I mean, your team loses to my team, and then you come at me telling me my team sucks and this, that, and the third. You say all these wild things, and I'm like, I think this dude isn't humble enough yet to know.
Well, I'm sorry for speaking the truth. Your team was trash, and yeah, we did lose to you. I mean, I don't know what you want me to do other than tell the truth, Mark.
Like, hey, listen, I just so
Like,
I expect someone that loses to a trash team to be a little bit humbler than that and come a little bit more reserved than you come at me.
look,
But you come at me with your chest poked out as if you didn't lose the Super Bowl last year after being up. Like, I don't get it.
now we bringing up the Super Bowl, man. I thought we talked about trades and shit, man. Why are we bringing up old stuff, man?
I'm just bringing up all the things that makes me say, the 49ers deserve this. They deserve this. They deserve this kick because this guy don't get it. Kyle Shanahan deserves this kick for even wanting Kirk Cousins. I feel as though Kyle Shanahan, he's a smart guy, but I feel as though he's a smart guy that doesn't know why he's smart. like
Smart dumb cat. I heard Ghostface talk about this before. Like, God,
like I
look,
don't like it's weird. Like you're a really smart guy, but you don't know why you're smart and you don't play into the things that you're smart about. And and I just find that to be ridiculous. Like you're an excellent coach. Like I'm just going to end up going on a rant about how he's an
man.
excellent
I'm not
subject.
gonna lie, man. Like, before you get into your thoughts about the trade, look, man. I do find myself very often looking at Kyle Shanahan. It just I don't even like the way his face looks anymore, man. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm just like, and I find myself in games saying to myself, like saying out loud, like Mike Shanahan would never. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mike and Mark, and it takes me to a place where when Mike Shanahan was available when he got fired from Washington,
Mm-hmm.
and there was rumors swirling that we might go after him. That like it brings me back to that heartache, Mark, because you know who we hired instead of Mike Shanahan? We hired Chip Kelly at that point. Okay, so still like I'm still like so knowing that we pursued Mike more than once on more than one occasion and weren't able to get him. You know what I'm saying? Like Washington got him to come out of retirement. We pursued him before he went to Washington, man. Look, like it really hurts me that we get his son, and I'm like, oh man, you know what? That's a good thing. We can't get Mike. We'll take his son. And then now I find myself wanting to just strangle this man. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, but he's so good in so many other areas that I'm like, well, I can't. We don't want. I want him to just leave. I remember Chip Kelly. I remember uh, Jim Tom Sula. You know what I'm
Huh?
saying? I remember these guys. Okay, so I'm like, please, I don't want to go back to that, but so it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. With Kyle Shanahan, he's who we got. I gotta live with it. I just gotta hope that he makes the right decisions. But
And
so, but let's talk about what you think about the trade. Do you think that's a good trade for the Niners to make? Because there hasn't been any details about what might be offered or anything like that. There's no speculation about that at all. So, but I would assume that Jimmy G would be leaving in a trade like that. So, what do you think about that? Jimmy G, the picture of what it would look like with Jimmy G on the Vikings and Kirk Cousins on the Niners.
I think it's a very very minor upgrade. A very very minor upgrade. Like if this was a lateral move, it's this. Like you know what I mean? Like that's it. Like
Horrible.
that's the difference between Kirk Cousins and Jimmy G.
Like, we trying to
Honestly,
go up a flight of steps, and
yeah,
we're just going up one step.
yeah, like pretty much, essentially. Um, and I honestly, I don't even think it is going up one step. I think it's you putting your foot on the next step. You didn't even like go up the next step. You just
No.
put your foot on the next step. Like that's it. Honestly, like Kirk Cousins is a very good quarterback. Honestly, we look at Here's the thing. Offensively, Minnesota is better than Minnesota is better than the 49ers
They have more weapons. They have better
offensively.
weapons.
Yes, like that's
Yeah,
what I was getting to. Like
yeah.
the offensive talent on the Vikings is better than the offensive talent on the 49ers. And we saw what that resulted in. Kyle and you and I have had this discussion when it came to Kyle Rudolph. Kyle Rudolph, like
His plays went down.
yes, his play, his
His
stats,
numbers.
his numbers has gone down, but he hasn't necessarily shown that he's not the same player. He's just literally not being targeted anymore, and it's like, how do you not target this dude anymore? And so, like, are we going to see a reduction in George Kittle? Like because Kirk Cousins down the QB, are we going to see are we going to see him staring down one receiver one game and then staring down another receiver the next game and then going back to the other receiver the next game instead of just looking at them both at any point in the game? Like and last time I checked, you guys don't have a dynamic running back that can catch. Like I don't honestly, I mean, you don't obviously you don't have to play the Vikings style, but I just don't see where Kirk Cousins is an upgrade for your team. Honestly, uh, I guess he's a bit more accurate than
He
Jimmy
makes
G.
less mistakes. He makes less mistakes, and I'll give him that credit. But okay, I dare anybody to do this because I've done it already. Go and look at the Vikings losses. I'm not even going to count his stats when he was with Washington. Look at the Vikings games, and you look at the season. You look at the stats that Kirk Cousins has in losses, where they talk about his efficiency. Like I think they say he's averaging like 29 touchdowns and like eight interceptions
Mm-hmm.
since he's been with the Vikings or something ridiculous like that. The fact that 29 touchdowns is happening puts you a notch below Alex Smith to me. You know what I'm saying? He's putting up Alex Smith pedestrian type numbers. This year he did have Justin Jefferson, the help of Justin Jefferson to help his numbers out. But his numbers still, Mark, weren't what I would want it to be with the receiving core that he has. Um, but like I said, once again, let me get back to his losses. In his losses, you're looking at games where he has zero touchdowns, one pick. You know, one touchdown, two picks. He's having these horrible games and like in these losses. And these losses are against good teams. Whenever he plays good teams, they lose because of him. Like straight up. They're getting beat down and blown out. Like at least with Jimmy G, we play a good team. Jimmy G will just play bad, just bad enough for us to lose by a touchdown. I am fearful. I think Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than Jimmy G, but I think Kirk Cousins' meltdowns are worse. That's what I'm afraid of, Mark. So, like you said, a slightly above lateral move. Honestly, I don't even know why I wanted to talk about this shit because now it just fucked my mood. But yes, like, I mean, and it just scares me knowing that this is a possibility of it happening. You know, when Kyle Shanahan locks in on a guy, that's it. You know, that's it. He locks in on him. He's gonna end up on our roster. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Well, is that it for the trade thing, or do
I think I had one more.
okay?
'Cause we talked about we talked about Kirk Cousins and Jimmy Garoppolo. We talked about Deshaun Watson. We talked about the Rams. Matt Ryan. I wanted to talk about Matt Ryan, Mark. There's supposedly teams out there that are trying to get Matt Ryan. Do you believe that the Atlanta Falcons are going to give up Matt Ryan in a trade?
Give up Matt Ryan? I
What
don't
I'm
think.
saying is, yeah, do you think Matt Ryan will be playing on the Atlanta Falcons for the entire next season?
Well, let me ask you, how much of uh the Atlanta Falcons' woes do you feel as though is tied to Matt Ryan?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's like 1%. I don't think any of this shit is his fault. Like to be honest with you, I used to look at Matt and be like, yo, it's empty stats. He's putting up numbers, and then I realized one day it's everything that's surrounding him. It's his defense. It's the coaching staff. It's the
Mm-hmm.
play calling. It's like they have found a way to squander Matt Ryan's talent. Like Mark, if you knew, like I think that Matt Ryan is probably he is right he is right underneath. I don't even know if he's underneath, but he might be just outside of the top five mark. Like you know what I'm saying? Like he belongs in the same sentence to me as matter of fact, here's a better one. I'll take Matt Ryan. I put Tom Brady's play this year on the same and Matt Ryan's play around the same for this year.
Hmm.
I think that as talented as Tom Brady is, Matt Ryan is just as talented. Maybe he doesn't have the intangibles that Tom Brady has, but Matt Ryan could do so much for that team. I think if Matt Ryan isn't on the Falcons, they go 0-16 with a different quarterback. That's how good I think Matt Ryan is. So no, none of this shit is his fault. None of it. But they're getting to the point where they're gonna have to let somebody go for payment
Well,
purposes, for cap purposes, Mark. And if they let any more pieces go on defense, I don't know what the hell their plan is for the
see,
future.
that's the problem. Is that they keep, in my opinion, they keep tooling up the offense
Yeah,
without doing anything about the defense. Honestly, in my opinion, what I would do if I was this team, um, you're right. Somebody has to go, and or somebody they have to prepare for the future.
somebody's not going to get paid
Yeah,
soon. Yeah,
yeah, but I don't see it being Matt Ryan because honestly, well, um, I'm trying to think of a team that actually would need him. Or
no.
that is ready now without, and all the only piece that they're missing is a QB. So I guess the Redskins, maybe.
I
Uh,
mean, the only teams that I can think of that would be the teams that I think that I know would be interested that would possibly try to make an offer. Niners, maybe, but I don't think we. I really think we value our picks so much that we wouldn't do it. Washington has nothing to lose. The one scenario that I thought was actually possible, Mark, is a trade with the Texans.
well, I
But
mean,
but I feel like that kind of went out the window once the details of of what they were asking for from the Rams. Once those details came out, that's when I felt like okay, maybe that's not possible. But
well,
it
for a veteran like, see, here's the thing: the Texans are nowhere near a win now mode,
no,
and for a guy like Matt Ryan, if you were to get Matt Ryan, you need to be in win now because he's older. Who knows how many more years he's going to be able to play at a high level. So you need to be in the win now already. So I don't know, man. I personally I don't see them trading him. Me personally,
yeah,
because they have if you trade away Matt Ryan, you also you better be trading away Julio Jones as well because you're essentially like you're wasting one of their careers by trading away the other. So is if you're going to trade away Matt Ryan, then you're pretty much saying that we're rebuilding and Julio Jones shouldn't be in your rebuild plan. So
well, you
with
know
that
what,
being
man?
said, I don't see them trading.
I opened up my phone here just to check to see what kind of rumors were out there, and lo and behold, not too long ago, Mark, a couple hours ago, I guess um, the Falcons have made it known through sources. They clearly it says NFL reporter shuts down idea of Falcons trade Matt Ryan, and then Falcon trade rumors. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones won't be moved despite the buzz. So they clearly, and both of these things have come out within the last couple hours. They clearly want to get the message out there. Hey, stop sending us trade offers that include Matt Ryan because it's not happening. It's not
See,
happening. So there we
so
go. I guess that solves it right there. Like
pat me on the back because like us,
there you go. I mean, but that's the only thing that I could. That's the only way I could see them trading him would be for Deshaun Watson.
yeah,
That would be it. Like because you're getting a younger quarterback that I believe is just as great. So
yeah.
and but the thing is the loyalty. Like who knows, man? Like you would really be shitting on Matt Ryan for his loyalty by sending him to the Houston Texans, but but that's neither here nor there. We do know the NFL moves that way though.
Right.
Um, so that's all I got for the trades.
Well, they're
Um,
saying there's also trade rumors around Derek Carr. Um,
wow, Derek Carr. What you hear, Mark?
well, I just pulled it up and it's from the score, I believe. and they were saying that Derek Carr, here, rate report, and it was from the score. Raiders QB Derek Carr expected to draw trade interest from multiple teams. Not that they're going to trade him, but they're expecting him to draw trade interest from multiple teams. Derek Carr is young enough um, for the Houston Texans to take on, and he's good enough. Um, and the Raiders have the picks because they didn't make the playoffs, so they have the picks that are should be in a good spot.
Yeah.
So I could see, I don't know, a first, maybe a first and a second in Derek Carr,
Well,
or maybe two first in
well,
Derek Carr,
let me speak about what I'm seeing
and you
because
get Watson.
yeah, I'm seeing the Watson thing with Derek Carr. And at first, I'm like, man, Texas ain't trying to trade with y'all. And then I really thought about this. The Raiders haven't had a great trade track record when it comes to getting good trades. Um, the Raider, I mean, Gruden, if he believes in Watson, he's crazy enough to bet the house on him. That's what I will say. So I won't completely rule him out. I don't think it's going to happen, but he could definitely, this is the thing. What you got to what we got to understand is Deshaun Watson has to be happy with wherever he's going because no team wants to acquire him and then have him hold out or have him say, "Look, I'm leaving the
Well,
first second."
well, he has a no trade clause. That's the most important thing. He
Yeah,
he can deny any trade he wants from that team
yeah,
because
okay,
he has a
yeah.
no trade clause.
That sums it up. Then I mean, like really, like so. Then I really don't think the Raiders have a chance, man. But
Well, why wouldn't he want to go to the Raiders? They have Henry Ruggs. They have an excellent tight end. The only thing I can see him detracting him from wanting to go to the, and it's Las Vegas. The only thing I can see detracting him from wanting to go to the Raiders, me personally, is the coaching.
I think the Patriots are still interested, and that's the reason why I think.
The Patriot, are you saying he would turn down the playmakers on the Raiders for the fucking Patriots?
I understand what you're saying, but I believe that if the Patriots were to try to make a run for him, they would already show him, hey, like if they had a conversation with him, they'd be like, look, this is what we plan on doing. We already got these trades in the work to get to acquire these players. You know what I'm saying?
I don't
Or
care.
they would have to acquire those players before. It
Yeah,
would be a long shot, Mark,
I don't care
especially
about none of that, Doug. The Patriots have probably one of the worst sets of playmakers on offense. Like,
if they
they're
if
probably like number 29 for
okay,
playmakers on offense.
but they make up for it in coaching staff and organization.
I
Mark,
mean,
I see. I know. See, I knew that you couldn't. I knew it. It's the Patriots, and you don't want to see him going there. You don't want him getting mixed up in whatever they got going on over
you
there, Mark.
just
That's what
said
it is.
that they make up for it in organization, coaching, and personnel.
No, I didn't say personnel. Coaching, organization.
Okay. Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess if you're trying to go to Florida to get your rocks off in a massage parlor, that's the
Look,
place to
man,
go
come on.
because
See, I knew you couldn't take your feelings out of it. I knew
because
you
the
couldn't take
owner
it.
the owner the
You know,
owner know exactly what to do.
you know what?
And
Let's get off of that though. Like Deshaun Watson right now looks like he's not going nowhere. But
right.
all
Well,
right.
here's the
So
thing. Here's the thing about that though. Deshaun Watson said he's, or at least it's being reported. Who knows how true it is, but it's being reported that he is willing and ready to take drastic measures should Houston not take him seriously about trying to trade him. So I don't know what that means or what that looks like. Does that mean sitting out games, not showing up for camp, all that other, all that typical stuff that goes along with these kind of situations. But the thing is, in this game, we've seen far too many teams fold from the player. Like you can, yes, you could find the player, this, that, and the third, but at the end of the day, you're going to fold because finding him or not, you still don't have the player. Like you have money whether or not you find him.
Mhm.
Whether or not you find him, you still have money, but you don't have the player. Like so, it doesn't. So the fine doesn't matter because that money isn't going to. It doesn't do nothing for you. The only thing that does something for you is the player showing up. So if Deshaun Watson decides to stick to his guns and stay in his ground and say, "I don't care, find me. I'm ready to keep giving you money every day that you find me." Then now you guys are going to look exactly like you are, which is the Houston Texans. And the Houston Texans, thanks to Bill O'Brien and their own incompetence at ownership and GM, they are unfortunately the new Cleveland Browns. So,
Yeah.
but unlike the Cleveland Browns, they actually get put wins on the board because they have talent on offense and defense. So,
Yeah. So, well, just this is what I'll say about the Watson thing and his control. He has been very, I think he's been very outspoken
mm-hmm,
and very forthcoming about how he feels about everything and about what his plans are. The second they hired the GM, he immediately spoke out. Like there was words coming from his camp, if you will, within less than 24 hours. Same thing after the coaching hire. Like after every significant moment dealing with the coaching situation and his trade rumors, something has come from him basically within 24 hours.
mm-hmm.
So if this man, he is one of the people that I do believe that if he's saying he's going to do something drastic, he's going to do it. So I think, and seeing as though he's one of these players that's pretty smart. You don't hear anything about him off the field and all this stuff. I think he's very aware of all of these things. If he's threatening this and he's that confident in
Mm-hmm.
threatening it, then
Right.
I believe that he's prepared for it financially as well. So like when Le'Veon Bell threatened to sit out, I didn't believe him. I didn't think he prepared for it. You know what I'm saying? But he did. He made it through. You know what I'm saying? So look, if Le'Veon Bell can do a successful sit out, then I believe that Deshaun Watson is capable of the same thing.
Exactly. And if that ends up happening, like I mean, there is a slight difference. One is officially under contract, and the other one was just holding out from being franchised. So,
Yes, but either way, there's going to be an uproar from the fans, whether or not they take the side of Deshaun Watson or not. I don't know because as of right now, the rumblings that I've been hearing from Houston Texan fans
mhm.
is that they side with Deshaun Watson right now.
Yeah,
But that's also not in the middle of the season where they think he should be playing and he's sitting out. So we'll see how that turns. But as of right now, the fans are so upset with the way the organization has been moving that right now they're siding with Deshaun Watson. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I believe that you're probably going to see backlash towards both if he sits out.
okay.
Um, okay, so our next topic, we're gonna talk about something that I don't really feel like talking about. I don't like talking about these situations, but they happen, and we're here to do a job, man. We're here to talk about things like this. So we're gonna speak about Chad Wheeler, the Chad Wheeler incident
Hmm.
with him beating excuse me, him beating up his girlfriend. Um, so it's about what about a week ago the news came out No, that he had beaten his girlfriend up. There was pictures that have been posted on the internet, you know, of her beaten up face, and saying that, hey, this guy beat her, tried to kill her by beating her to death,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously was unsuccessful. She's alive. She's obviously in intensive care. Um, and a whole 24 hours had passed, and people were wondering why it wasn't plastered everywhere. Um,
Here's
I
the
don't want to get too far into that. That's what I say. I was just going to ask you. I'll let you fill in the blanks and fill in what your thoughts are. Just what were your initial thoughts when you heard of everything and the way that it came out and the way that you found out about it? How did
well,
you feel?
well, the way that I found out about it was through ESPN. Like I found about it a while. Like I found about it like after it happened. It said offensive lineman. Originally, it said offensive lineman for Seattle Seahawks um, suspected of harming his girlfriend or some nonsense like that,
Okay.
and and then like a day later or whatever, it said he was let go
By the
of
Seahawks.
from
Yep.
the Seahawks, and then I saw a picture of her, but I just saw like this is just me scrolling. I saw a picture of a woman beaten up, but then I saw the picture of Chad Wheeler, and I was like, oh, that's the girlfriend, and I put it together. But I heard about and that's when everybody was like, well, why isn't this all over ESPN? This I was like, but it was reported by ESPN. Like it was reported by these big news sites already. Like you're actually late. Like it didn't become a big deal until after it was already reported though. And it's like you're actually late. And as far as it not being um made a big deal, like it has nothing to do with the fact that it's a black woman or anything like that, as some people try to make it out to be. Like has nothing to, this is just the NFL's MO. The NFL will try to keep something under wraps for as long as possible if they can. Like and I mean, like the Ray Rice situation was nobody was ever going to know, like until somebody decided to
To
put
the video.
to leak the video. But like the world was never going to know what happened with Ray Rice, um, if the video didn't get leaked. And there's other players that have gotten let go for beating their girlfriend or whatever, and they were just let go of the team and had to deal with the courts without it becoming a massive deal. I don't think this is an indictment on the NFL or anybody else. Uh, I think the NFL did what they were supposed to do, and they did what they were supposed to do, which is look, we seen enough. Let the player go. They're not the police. They can't arrest them. Like you know what I'm saying? Like what do you like what are they supposed to do from there? He doesn't have a job no more. That's that's what they were supposed to do. And they were moving on with their lives. Um Unfortunately, it sounds harsh when you say it, but and as far as ESPN reported that Chad Wheeler got let go. Nobody was hiding this information. It just didn't become a big thing until after. And even now that it's a big thing, I'm looking at it like, okay, but he doesn't have a job with the NFL. They're not hiding anything. They let him go already. They did like now it's up to the courts to do their job. Like, so I don't see necessarily where I feel as though the uproar is misplaced.
Yeah. So, well, okay, this is what I'll say from when I found out about it. I found out about it shortly, I guess, less than a day after it happened. And
Mm-hmm.
first thing that I saw, Mark, was the way that I found out about it was through social media, and there were posts on Facebook and Twitter where people were sharing the photo of her in a hospital, and they were sharing it saying, hey, everybody needs to share this. Nobody has said anything about this yet, but this needs to be shared. We need to make sure that this man is punished the same way that the black players were punished when they were beating up their significant others and yada. They literally called for a social media push to make it a big deal so that it's quote unquote known, so that the NFL or whoever the media doesn't have the opportunity to try to hide it.
Mm-hmm.
And they were kind of suggesting that it was already being hidden. Now, I saw this before the reports came out. The reports came out not too long after that. I don't think it had anything to do with people trying to share it on social media. I think what happened is the NFL and everybody started doing the due diligence.
No, but see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like
I'm telling you verbatim that everybody sharing and talking about it, it already happened. I can pull up from the articles from Atlanta Star and from all
oh
the
no, but I'm talking about mainstream media speaking about it on TV.
yo no yeah, but I'm
So
talking
so
about
yeah, yeah,
all like all before all those articles, like ESPN already had it. He was already released from the team. Like he
no,
was
like I'm
going.
telling you, I heard it before he was even released. Like I saw it on social media before he was released. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying that's when I saw it. So
I
what?
I
But
know.
what I saw was somebody just saying there was a post being shared where people were saying just share it to make sure. What you're talking about, the social media outrage that happened, the social media outrage in response to the pictures happened. Yes, it happened after he was already cut. Like I've seen people today just speaking about it this morning. You know what I mean? Like, but the outrage came after everything had already been reported, after everything had already taken place, after he's already cut. He's already come out and spoken about it. And then the outrage is late. The outrage is coming late because the information, the people that are getting their news from Facebook and other social medias are getting it late. You know what I'm saying? They're just going down the timeline. They're not watching the news. They're not watching ESPN. They happen to see something pop up on their timeline one night, and then they're speaking about it. So the bigger the details that I've seen from this case, um, I don't want to put any incorrect information out there, but I saw something that said that he's supposedly bipolar. They said that he himself came out and stated that it was from a manic episode, which is something that people that are manic depressives, if they're manic depressant, then this is something that happens. They go through a manic episodes, and he's saying that's what happened when this happened, and he came out and he spoke about saying that he needs help and he's going to go seek help. He's pulling himself away from the NFL. He said the only thing that's important here is for his girlfriend to get the treatment and that she needs physically, obviously medically, and for him to get the treatment that he needs mentally, right? So that's all the details that are out right now. Nobody knows what exactly happened. We don't know the extent of how many times this has happened in the past or what the girlfriend has dealt with. The girlfriend hasn't been able to speak out. Not yet. So we're not going to know. I'm going to reserve my judgments and for this upon everybody in this situation, involved in the situation, until we hear more, because this ain't enough for me to just outright condemn anybody, and this ain't enough for me to give anybody a pass either. So, but to what you're talking about, I'm more disappointed in the outrage and the way that the outrage has come, because I remember when some of these players were going through their stuff, people were screaming for due diligence. Then I remember there was also a half that was just like, yo, fry these guys. You know what I mean? And then when people like Ray Rice got fried, and then they weren't in the NFL no more, then people started feeling sorry for them. The general public is so fickle when it comes to matters like this that I don't want to hear what they got to say when they're raging out like this. But regardless of all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like the Seahawks cut him within a day. You know, reports were out. You know what I'm saying? He spoke out, which we never hear these players speak out so quickly like this. He spoke out, whether you believe him or not, whatever. But he spoke out. Mark, my question is, from what you've seen from this situation, is there any level in which you think it should have been handled differently by anybody?
Um, for the situation, no.
Yeah,
I already said no. I don't. No.
yeah. So
That's
I
fine.
guess I agree with you. So I'm just trying to figure out what people want, man. And and you can't be in outrage about nothing being done when something is being done. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like this says yesterday he pled not guilty. Like he's already having to go through the proceedings.
Which
I
is
don't
weird.
understand.
How is he pleading not guilty? But
Well, if he's saying he's bipolar and he had a manic episode,
I don't give a fuck. You still guilty. Like that
what I'm
doesn't make you not guilty.
what I'm, but Mark, you can say that, but then I believe that you're a person that doesn't believe in the plea of insanity for not guilty. Then either
No, like listen,
I'm
you can
I
be no.
understand.
I
I'm
don't.
trying to
I
say
don't. You're right. I don't believe in that
okay,
because
well then that explains it.
you are guilty. You did it. It wasn't another person that did it. You did it. You may have issues that go beyond why that may be the reason for you doing it, but you did it. Sort your issues out behind a jail cell. But don't like you don't get to walk around free because you got issues. Your issues caused harm to someone. So sort your issues out
Well, well,
behind iron bars.
well, what I will say this is this, Mark. Usually, if somebody takes something like an insanity plea, they don't get to walk free, Mark. they're
Uh,
sitting they're sitting at a facility
but that
because of the issues and because of the damage that was done.
but
So,
what I'm saying is saying not like I'm not guilty. No, you're quite guilty.
well, I mean, there ain't no plea to say that, hey, man, I'm kind of guilty. Maybe medically I haven't been being treated right correctly, and that led to this whole thing. So yeah, I did it, but it wasn't really my fault all the way.
Yeah,
Like, there's no
like
plea for that, Mark. There's no plea for that. So it's either you plead guilty or you plead not guilty. I don't know what you want that man to
yeah,
do.
I guess to say like I did it, but I didn't do it maliciously. I don't know. Like it's
Like,
weird.
yeah, like if the man had a psychotic break that was caused by a pre-existing medical condition, then I guess you know what I'm saying. But I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and go back and forth with you about that. If that's the only reason why I asked you that. If like
Mm-hmm.
you don't believe in people doing insanity, please. So it makes sense. You know what I'm saying. If that's the way if you feel that way, you feel that way about this. You're consistent with it, so it is what it is. I mean, but he pled not guilty. Don't matter. It's going to be decided upon. And I think the big factor that's going to play into it is what has happened previously. Because Mark, I'll be honest with you. If I ever had an episode like that and something happened where I physically put hands on people that I shouldn't be, it only takes one time for that to happen, Mark, before I go get help and make sure that I'm getting the proper help. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't like if there's a history of this happening where he has these psychotic breaks or manic episodes, as he said it himself out of his own mouth. If he has a history of that, at some point the responsibility does go on you to get the treatment that you need. So that's what I'll say. I think that'll play a part in it, but you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna knock that man for saying he for pleading not guilty, man. I'm not gonna knock him for that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Somebody like me would just be like, look, I'm guilty. Even though I don't think it's my fault, I'm guilty. Just, I feel so bad about it. Take me, punish me. I'll take whatever, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But not everybody's built like that. So
All right. Well,
yeah. Well, it looks like it's time to get into what we really want to talk about, Mark.
What's that?
You know what I'm saying? The Super Bowl. Let's talk about the Super Bowl that's coming up next week.
All
Okay.
right.
So we got the Chiefs and we got the Buccaneers. We got Tom Brady and we got Patrick Mahomes. We
Mm-hmm.
have the best run defense, Mark. That's what they're saying. They're saying Tampa Bay has the best run defense. The best run defense versus who I think is one of the better pass defenses in the league. So we have a lot to really break down when it comes to the Super Bowl. So before we get into breakdowns, let's go ahead and get into predictions for scores. Mark, what do you have? You know, who do you have winning and by how much? What's the score? What do you see the end game being here?
I don't predict scores. Never have.
Oh, you're not predicting the score for the Super Bowl? You don't predict scores for the Super Bowl?
Never have. Never. You. Anytime
Okay.
that I predicted a win, you've never seen me predict a score.
Okay.
But the Chiefs are going to win.
The Chiefs are going to win. That's what you got. Okay, so I'll go out and say that I have the Chiefs winning 37 to well I yeah, I'm not going to go that high. Excuse me. 34 to 31. I got the Chiefs winning 34 to 31.
Okay. Okay.
3 point game. 3 point game. But um
So
yeah,
you expect Tom to be perfect?
I expect Tom not to be perfect, but I expect him to, let's just say, I expect him to rise to the occasion. I expect this to be the best game that he's played all year.
Okay.
It has
Okay.
nothing to do with his talents of what I've seen before. I just don't feel like I can bet against Tom Brady in a Super Bowl in the form of saying that he's going to have a bad game. Like I don't know when the last time I seen him have a bad game in the Super Bowl. He's had a bad half here and there. He's done things like that, but I've never seen him really have a like completely just a bad game. So I don't expect that to happen here.
Okay. Um. That's fair, I guess.
I
I
mean,
just.
well, how do you feel about Tom Brady? This is you looking at me crazy and shit. How do you
I.
feel about Tom
I don't
Brady?
feel. Listen, Tom Brady. Here's the thing. In this postseason, Tom, this team. Well, forget it, man. Let's just get into the breakdown.
Yeah,
Because
break it down. Break it down.
all right,
What are going to be the keys for this shit? And
all
what do you?
right. Here's the thing. Chiefs, Chiefs versus Tampa Bay. I guess I'll start with Tampa Bay. Think with Tampa Bay, the reason why I don't see them the one of the reasons why I don't see them winning this game is offensively, particularly in the postseason. Um, they haven't had to drive the field very often to score. Like in their scores have been their scores have been off of shorter fields, and Tom Brady hasn't had to do much offensively to to lead the team to victory. Their defense has been able to guide them throughout this postseason. Um, and I just don't see that happening against the Chiefs. I don't see that happening against the Chiefs at all. Like that the Chiefs are we already know what the Chiefs are. The Chiefs can score at will. The Chiefs are basically they have been the best team in the NFL. They have Tyreek Hill, they have Travis Kelsey. Like there's no need to go down the list, but what we so and look and we've seen Ronald Jones give up for Tampa Bay. We've seen Ronald Jones give up fumbles. he's pretty much
He's
guaranteed.
always had a fumbling problem.
He's pretty much guaranteed for one a game, and we see like Leonard Fournette just last week couldn't catch a ball for shit. Like
Wild.
so they would have to come into this game pretty much playing pretty much on a P's and Q's to beat these Chiefs because these Chiefs their skill level is so high, particularly at the quarterback position, and that you like that they could keep up with you if you like even if you're playing perfect, they cannot play perfect and keep up with you. We've seen that. I mean, we've seen that this off season. We've seen that. I mean, we've seen this postseason. We've seen that last year. Like shit, like just last week they went down by 10 points, and they weren't phased. Nothing about them were phased by being down by 10 points in the first quarter so easily, and and that was and that was due to them. Like they created that 10 point uh lead. Like that was a deep field goal that they had to make. That their opponent had to make in the first place, and then the fumble was like their own fault. So you can't rely on a kick return fumble created by the kick returner. Like you know what I mean? Like you can't rely on that happening every week. Ronald Jones has shown that you can rely on him fumbling. Like that's pretty much going to happen. Um, so and that's on the Chiefs side. I mean, that's on the Bucks side as far as why I don't see them necessarily winning. Tom Brady has been he's susceptible to pressure, and we just saw Josh Allen was frustrated. Josh Allen they turned Josh Allen into a baby, throwing tantrums on the field with the pressures that they were showing him last week. What are they going to what are the Bucks going to do when uh when Tyrann Matthew is flying down the field for this sack? Like, what are they going to do? We've seen Tom under pressure when pressure gets to him, he tends to fold. Like, what is he going to do if they send those same blitz packages that they were sending just against the Bills? I don't see that working out for the Bucks as all that well. We have now. I will say this: the Bucks' saving grace in this particular game is that they will have AB back. AB will be playing in the slot. That will be a problem for if he's healthy. That will be a problem for a lot of people. And they're gonna have Mike Evans. I don't believe that the I don't believe that the Chiefs have a proper cornerback matchup for Mike Evans either. But um but if those pressures get to Tom, it's going to be a problem. And we've seen Tom. Tom doesn't rely on the player's skill level as much as he should. Like, because in this particular game, he should probably lean towards Mike Evans and just counting on the mismatches. But we've seen how he played. He doesn't play according to the mismatch from receiver to corner. He plays to like, oh, if this guy's open or not, or I'm gonna try to throw him open. But he doesn't play according to the mismatches. This would be a game that he should play according to the mismatch, uh, uh from skill level, and I don't think he will. And so that's my answer for the Bucks. Before I get into my Chiefs answer, do you have any rebuttal for anything that I just said?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have some rebuttals for what you just said, man. Because yes, Tom Brady has a problem with pressure. That is true. I did think that the amount of pressure that the Chiefs got on Josh Allen was great. I personally think that people didn't speak much about it, but the Bills have a pretty good offensive line, man. Um, so yes, that was surprising the amount of pressure they were able to get on Josh Allen. And it was surprising. What was surprising really was Josh Allen's reaction to the pressure. Tom Brady ain't gonna run back 15 yards. So like that's not gonna happen in that same way. Tom Brady also is a guy who usually is good about getting rid of the ball before you even have time for the pressure to get there. One thing that I think, and I'm gonna mention the coaching. I'm gonna mention the coaching in this scenario because the plays are long developing plays. That is going to be a factor. Typically, like I said, typically Tom Brady get the ball out of there, but if these are long developing plays, on those plays that take a little bit longer to develop, he's going to have a problem if the pressure is coming in. So I do agree with you on that with the pressure aspect. Just I don't know if it's going to be as effective as you believe it to be. Um,
Well, here's the thing: we've seen these play layouts that the Buccaneers have employed um, in throughout this season. Like their play packages is honestly a little bit of a mess. Like where they have three receivers on one side and they're all going and they're all turning out like how is that like
and
it's hard
I
they have very difficult reads on that
and I
team.
understand what you're saying, but we're still talking about Tom Brady, and Tom Brady's a guy who I've seen him time and time again in Super Bowls change the game plan. You've seen him shoot. But the last time he played them in the playoffs, when he played them in the AFC Championship game, and the last 4 or 5 plays went to Gronk, like those were just drawn up there. Like
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady has the ability to adjust, especially and if I understand that he's been playing within the system for the most part during this whole journey up here, but this is the Super Bowl. I expect that if Tom Brady does not like what he's seeing with some of the routes and some of the play calls and in certain situations, I believe that if it becomes a problem, Tom Brady is going to adjust. I'm giving Tom Brady that credit. He's going to adjust. So that's what I mean by like I just don't know. Like I can't come into this and just assume that Tom Brady's gonna have a bad. He's gonna play his best football that he's played
Oh, I don't
this
think
year.
he's going to play a bad game,
No,
and I'm
I'm
just
not saying that you think that. I'm just saying he's going to play exceptional. Mark is what I'm saying. He's going to play above what I'm used to seeing him play this year. Is what I'm expecting from him this game, especially considering the chemistry that they've had. AB is back with the Bucks. Okay, matter of fact, I'm gonna let you because I'm just gonna go back to what I'm counteracting from what you said. Now the Mike Evans thing, I do believe that that is a mismatch situation that they might want to try to take advantage of. I I expect to see Teron Matthew floating somewhere near and around Mike Evans and Gronk.
nah.
Like that's what I'm expecting. He's going to be everywhere, but I suspect that he's going to be near these guys because that's who Tom Brady would have to lean on in situations where guys ain't getting open. Um,
I'm gonna let you know now. Tyron is probably going to float around because he tends to float around the middle to the outside. He's going to
yeah,
it's more so he's going to be floating around AB
he'll
and
be
Gronk.
lurking.
It's more so he's going to be floating around AB and Gronk and Mike Evans. He probably very rarely will see him.
You can't leave that one on one out there. But
You no,
what?
I don't think it's going to be a 1-on-1, but it won't be
Yeah,
Tyron.
you want
That's
him. Okay, got you. Okay, that's fine. But yes, I do think I think personally the matchups the Bucks still have a lot of talent offensively at wide receiver. It's just ridiculous. So as much as I think that the Chiefs secondary is great, it ain't a given that it's going to stop Tom Brady from throwing for 350 yards.
I don't think that.
So yeah, and I don't know if that's a given for them to be able to pick off Tom Brady once or twice. So
I don't think that. I just think that
yeah.
if Tom is going to throw for 350, Pat has the ability to throw for 5.
Oh yes. That is true. Okay, so but I don't know if there's anything else that you said that I wanted to talk about, but yeah, for the most part, I agree with what you're saying I just think that it's not going to be to the severity that you think
I
it will
well,
be.
I'm not speaking to a severity. I'm just speaking to these are the things that you have to look out for to play out. Like I'm not speaking to a severity of it. Like it's just like those pressures. Like I when I speak to those pressures, like at some point that pressure will get to Tom, and that may be the difference. Like for instance, Brandon when my team won the Super Bowl, it wasn't like they were getting to Tom all day, but when they got to Tom, it was the turning. Those plays were the turning tide of the game. Like you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like so that's what I'm speaking to is
yeah,
that when the Chiefs they send those pressures, they will they will be the turning tides of the game.
yeah. Okay. Well, if you want to continue, you wanted
Yeah.
to talk about the
Oh
Chiefs.
yeah. So now I spoke to why the Bucks could lose. So I'm gonna speak to why the Bucks could win. Um, because like I said, the mismatches for cornerbacks to wide receiver they favor the Bucks. The Bucks have Mike Evans, they have AB, they have Chris Godwin, they have some very speedy guys, and they have big guys. Now, I will say this: those corners, when it comes to the speedy guys, those corners are used to speedy guys. They have Tyreek. They used to seeing Tyreek. They used to seeing McCole Hardman. They used to seeing fast guys out there, and they're used to having to try to cover those fast guys. The bigger issue would be having to having to cover Mike Evans, and if Gronk was possibly saving all his juice for now, like just
What the
to
fuck you mean by juice? You know what, Mark? Never mind.
no,
Never mind.
I was
You,
just spit.
I feel like you buy. I don't even know if you was going there, but it's you, so I can't give you the benefit of the doubt.
But
But go.
legitimately, I wasn't going there. I was just saying like he's been like you know what I mean for the most part outside of one or two games he's been taking it easy.
Yeah.
So like I'm
Okay.
saying if he's saving all his energy till this game, like I'm gonna give it everything I got in the
Yeah.
Super Bowl. Now that could possibly be a problem because you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Like so I'm gonna so I'm just saying I'm giving him that benefit that he could be a problem out there. But and outside of that, like it is still it's Tom Brady still. You know what I'm saying? Like so, he's able to do these things. He's able to go out there and perform. Now, one thing I will say is a benefit to the Bucks, and I think the Chiefs are making a mistake by doing this. Is Eric Fisher went out. Eric Fisher went out last week against the Bills, and this week, what the report is that they're moving the right tackle, who is already a backup. He is the backup for the right tackle that went out in week 6. They're moving that guy to left tackle for this game. I do not agree with that. Moving, and I think his name is Mike Renner. But moving your right tackle to left tackle, um, just I don't believe you should do it. And they're taking the right guard and moving him to right tackle. Like so, it's just not. I wouldn't necessarily suggest it unless this guy has a lot of experience playing left tackle before because he's been playing right tackle since week 6. Like like so he's used to stepping off of one leg versus stepping off the other, and that could be very difficult, and especially when you're protecting um your quarterback's weak side. Like you don't want to you don't want to do that to a guy. It may actually just benefit. It would probably just benefit them to put in a backup left tackle who's actually used to playing that position and stepping off the correct foot and like to where his muscle memory is for the left side. It probably would benefit them to just go with that guy rather than moving your right tackle to left tackle and moving your right guard to right tackle. Like jumbling up your offensive line uh, in the Super Bowl week doesn't it doesn't give me the greatest vote of confidence. And I would say if you're going to stop Patrick Mahomes, this would be probably the key to it is that this offensive line is being jumbled up where I don't think it should. You should just replace the left tackle with a backup. But but outside of that, that's the only benefit I really have for the Bucks defense because the Chiefs offensively, their play calling seems like the plays themselves, like forget the playmakers. The plays themselves are excellent plays that are they are very well drawn up plays. And they're only bolstered because they have like these superstars to pull them off.
Mm-hmm.
Like like you and I were talking about how these shovel passes work so well because Tyreek Hill is pulling to the right and Patrick Mahomes is pulling to the right that you have to pay attention to these guys. So when he shovel pass to the middle, like you so much of the defense has been pulled to following Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes. Like and we've seen it. And I always talk about how Travis Kelsey has a 5 yard radius around him anytime he catches the ball to where nobody's there. And that's because of the play designs are pulled so much to where you're following this guy. You're making sure you know where Tyreek Hill's going. You're making sure you know where that guy's going. To where that Travis Kelsey just he's left on the island by himself. Um, the best way these teams could play against these guys is honestly, um, that's going to be a big problem. Is
You
it's just that's just going to be a very big problem
have to
for
pick your poison with this team.
yeah with this particular team. Like they can beat you in so many ways, and Patrick Mahomes can beat you even with his feet. Like that's the like outside of the secondary and outside of the wide receivers, the biggest thing is going to be how will that defensive line respond when you're trying to get to a guy and you keep trying to get to him and you can't reach him. Like right when you're about to grab him, he steps out of bounds. Like you know what I mean? Right when you're about to hit him, the ball's out of his hands. How or right when he's about to run into you, he slides. How are you going to respond when a guy keep constantly does that to you? Are you, like will you be able to keep your head focused in the game, or will you respond
This
out
shit
of
got to be frustrating, man. I'll
yeah?
be
You know what
honest.
I'm saying?
This shit got to be like for example, like I remember playing ball, and I'm like, yo, I'm 5'10". I'm guarding this dude that's 5'4".
Mm-hmm.
I can jump out the gym. I should be able to block this dude's shot anytime he pulls up on me. And then having that person release the ball so quickly, every single time, quick release shot, boom, 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 shoot my eyes out, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't block his shot or even get close enough to where it disturbs his shot. It was literally like if I don't block it, it's going in. Like
Right.
that's the most frustrating thing is thinking that you have a guy, thinking that you should have him, thinking that you got him, and then realizing that it's not true. You know what I'm saying? And so that is that mentally does something to people. So
Exactly.
right, how are they going to respond when he's narrowly escaping? How much is that frustration going to set in and determine how they play, how hard they play, or is that going to disrupt their thought process when it comes to risk assessment?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because if you want that shit bad enough, maybe you're willing to take that risk where you shouldn't.
Right. Now,
Well,
even because even with the offensive now, here's the another thing. Even with the offensive line changes that the Chiefs have, maybe there's a possibility that they're preparing for that, and you could be looking at more passes to the running backs in this particular game, who are both pass catching backs who have elusiveness. Darrell Williams and CH both have elusiveness, and they can catch the ball out of the backfield. Like, so there's too many ways that this team can beat you, and there's very few ways that you can beat this team. Like, so these are all the reasons why I put the Chiefs ahead. Um and I honestly, the only path I see going forward it to stop Patrick Mahomes is like if he randomly has a game where he just playing like shit for some reason. Like they Yeah, like nobody can predict that. But if he's Patrick Mahomes, like the only answers you really have for this guy is you better hope Nicole Hartman is out there messing up, and um you better hope that like you can create the pressure with this jumbled offensive line. But outside of that, it's going to be a long day for you defensively. Um, and off and offensively, I think you just gotta lean into your playmakers and lean into the mismatch. And I truly think that if Tampa Bay leans into the mismatches, that they have a real shot. But if they don't, it could be potentially a problem.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to. This is what I'll say because I'm just gonna make it a little bit more simplified here from my response by
I apologize for that being so lengthy. And
no, you're good. You're good. I see. I don't want to get into a full breakdown like you, but what I'll do is I'm not going to separate them. I'm going to talk about both of them at the same time. So I'm going to talk about just straight up keys to victory and things to look for. Um, so what I see with the Tampa Bay Bucks versus the Chiefs, like offensively, the Bucks offense versus the Chiefs defense, they have to use their weapons. They have really good weapons. They got to use the weapons. The dilemma that I see, Mark, comes here, and this hurts me to say this. You know what I'm saying? But the Niners, there was a successful blueprint that was happening, and the best thing that the Niners did was run the fucking ball. Keep Patrick Mahomes from getting a bunch of possessions. Keep your quarterback out of the dangers of passing the ball or turning the ball over through the air. Wear the defense out so that you have the opportunity to score a little bit easier in the end of the game. And if you have a lead, you can burn out the clock because the opposing team, the Chiefs defense, is tired from the running of the ball. That's the most that you can do. And if you can get a couple of good plays here and there and hope that the Chiefs players and playmakers make mistakes, then you have a chance. You can't like we didn't like the Chiefs in this past Super Bowl didn't have a hard time in the first half because Patrick Mahomes was playing bad. People were dropping passes. Things were happening. The people around him were cold. They were going in cold because of the amount of time that the Niners were able to run off the clock. You have to try to take the playmakers out of the game because you're not going to be able to take Patrick Mahomes out of the game. So you have to try to take the other guys out of the game. We just saw in the AFC Championship game, McCole Hardman dropped that punt or kickoff. Excuse me, he
mm-hmm.
fumbled the kickoff. You know, these are the things. Like the only people that you're going to be able to get to are guys like McCole Hardman, CEH, Le'Veon Bell. You know, I doubt that there's anything that you can do to Kittle. Tyreek Hill has shown occasionally that he can make mistakes. These are the people that you're going to have to try to pressure to make the mistakes, not Patrick Mahomes. And the best thing that you can do to get them to make the mistake is let their jitters get to them. Keep them on the sideline. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that when they're coming in cold. And the only way to do that, Mark, is to run the ball. The problem I see with Tampa Bay is that I'm not as confident in their run game. I'm not confident that they can pull that off with the running backs that they have. You know,
Right.
I'm not certain that they can do that. I'm not even certain that the play calling would lend itself to that because if you're Bruce Arians, if you're Byron Leftwich, and you're looking at your roster, what are you saying to yourself, Mark? You're saying our best chance to score is by putting the ball in our playmakers' hands, and guess what that involves? The entire passing game, and it involves Tom Brady, it involves Mike Evans, it involves Antonio Brown, it involves like so. I feel like their best bet to slow down the Chiefs' offense is to run the ball. The best bet to get them to make mistakes is by running the ball and eating the clock. Now, unless they're going to go into this game and change everything that they've been doing all year and decide to simulate a slow pace by passing short all game, then what I believe we're gonna see is we're gonna see the Bucks and you're gonna see Tom Brady and you're gonna see a passing onslaught. They're gonna try to it's gonna they're gonna try to establish the run early, but they're gonna get away from it really quickly, Mark. That's what I think is gonna happen. They're gonna try to establish the run at the beginning, but they're gonna get away from it very quickly. It's the same thing that they did with the Packers game. They got away from it really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I expect to see the same, and I think that's going to be their downfall, Mark. But but it's hard. I can't fault an offensive coordinator or a head coach looking at Tom Brady, Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Gronk, Chris Godwin, and being like, "This is what we're going with." You know, it's a hard decision, but this is something that they should have been practicing throughout the year, Mark. This is something that they should have tested during the year. It ain't the time to test it now to see if you can run the ball. So they're going to go with their bread and butter. So with that said, I'm looking at the Bucks being able to take advantage of the matchups. You can't have Tom Brady going out here and just saying, "I'm going to run the play. I'm going to throw to whoever I think might be coming open." Tom Brady is going to have to get out of his comfort zone, Mark, and throw to a covered AB and throw to a covered Mike Evans more often than he does already. Gronk is the only person that I believe that he trusts enough to where he'll do it on a fairly consistent basis. But Gronk is the lesser out of the two people that he's the lesser out of the three guys that he can do that with.
Right.
So he's Tom Brady absolutely has to get out of his comfort zone in between Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich, the offensive play calling, they have to commit to the run more than they have in the past. I don't know if they can win the game without those two things happening, Mark.
Well, let me
Um,
ask you though. Let's say they commit to the run, Ronald Jones run, and then boom, he fumbles. That
that's
he's
guess what? You can only play with the team that you have, Mark, and you
yeah,
can only react to the situations that are happening on the field. If Ronald Jones fumbles in the first or second possession, if you decide you want to go away from that, I don't have a problem because guess what? I would have a bigger problem with them going back to Ronald Jones and having him make another mistake like that.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And then you're looking at it like, why are they relying on Ronald Jones to get the dub when this dude is clearly unreliable? So it's a catch-22, Mark. Like I said, they don't have the pieces to do what I believe they need to do. This is why I think they don't have a chance of winning this game. Their only chance is if Tom Brady becomes uncharacteristic, if he plays uncharacteristic. Maybe it can happen. Maybe it will. I don't know, Mark. But unless he's going to take advantage of these matchups, wide receiver wise, then I don't see how they're going to be able to generate offense in the times when the defensive pressure is coming. Mark, this is the Super Bowl. Everybody's playing on high adrenaline.
Right.
It's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? These plays are going to happen where you're overwhelmed. The defense gets in a little bit quicker than you think. What are you going to do? Or in a situation where you're pressed and you're in a third and nine situation, and you know that they're blitzing. Are you going to run the play or are you going to look for AB? Are you going to run the play or are you going to look for Mike Evans? I don't care if the coach even draws up a play for Mike Evans. Tom Brady, who do you feel like is your go-to guy? I don't think that's been established all year, Mark. So, so that's what I say about the Bucks offense versus the Chiefs defense. I just feel like the Chiefs defense isn't going to give up the game on the ground, but I think they're more vulnerable there than they are through the air. They're vulnerable through the air only by way of matchups because their players are always Johnny on the spot and where they need to be.
Right.
You gonna the matchup is the only way. So now let's talk about the Chiefs. It's the Chiefs on offense versus the Bucks. What you have is the Bucks defense is better than what people give them credit for. The Bucks defense, I to speak to what you're talking about with the offensive line situation, Todd Bowles is going to attack that. I'm just going to assume 100% that he's going to attack that. You know, you're dealing with Ndamukong Suh, you're dealing with JPP, you're dealing with Shaq Barrett. These are guys that are able to generate that type of pressure. Okay, and I don't know who's playing on which side. If I remember, JPP plays on the opposite side. He's going to be matched up with the right tackle. So you're going to have Shaq Barrett on that side. Who knows? Who knows if they switch him? It doesn't matter. There's going to be a mismatch with the left tackle. It doesn't matter if it's Shaq Barrett. It doesn't matter if it's Ndamukong Suh. It doesn't matter if it's JPP. He's going to have a hard time. He's going to have a hard time. I expect Todd Bowles to be drawing up blitzes. He's going to test the strength of that left side, considering that they got somebody fresh in there. Okay, Todd Bowles' play calling has been phenomenal defensively. He's going to test that mark. So that is going to be one of the major keys on how this game turns out. Is how the left tackle holds up, because I believe that it will be a deliberate attack and onslaught on that side. On that side, I mean, as if it isn't already, but no, it's going to be even more so. I expect a lot of blitzes coming that way. I expect a little bit of confusion too. They're going to try to confuse them. Okay, the Chiefs are going to have to work around that. The Chiefs have made a concerted effort this year, Mark, to get the ball in short pass situations. They're just trying to get the ball to Tyreek Hill and let him make a play in open space. It's been a concerted effort. We talk about how his numbers weren't all that great in the beginning of the year. Part of the reason why is they weren't looking for him down the field. They're giving Tyreek these little dump offs and letting him run the ball. Okay. Tyreek Hill he's going to have those all game, Mark, because the second you play tied up on Tyreek, if he fakes inside and then goes deep, you're done. He's going to get that. I don't know if there's anything they can do about Tyreek getting the short stuff. I expect the Chiefs to attack that. But the next biggest thing outside of the left tackle situation is going to be the slow starts, because the Chiefs just know how to start slow. Their players outside of Tyreek Hill and Kelsey, they know how to fuck up. Just call it what it is. So they can't do that. They gotta keep that to a minimum. And then, like I said, the slow starts, like Andy Reid has to do something to come out here firing. Okay, they cannot start off this game down 10-0. In this game, with that left tackle situation, this can be a problem. So, and if it's going to lend itself to them having a 10-point lead and Todd Bowles being able to make even more aggressive play calling defensively, then it could really become a problem. Okay, that's what I see. But the left tackle situation, outside of that, they absolutely can't get out to a bad start. So, coaching, bad start, left tackle. Those are the weaknesses for the Chiefs offensively. That's what I expect Tampa Bay to attack. And then for Tampa Bay, their weakness is just the fact that what they probably need to do to help themselves is not their strong suit.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be. I mean, but both teams obviously have a chance to win this game. Um, I don't think it's as one sided as some people might think it is. To be honest with you, I don't even know if I can say that because a lot of people are saying Tom Brady's going to win, man.
Yeah, I was about to say
Yeah, actually, I
a
think
lot
there
of
might be
people
more
have it
people.
one sided towards Tampa Bay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, you might be right. I think I've heard more support for the Bucks, but like I said, it's going to be a game of pressure, and it's going to be a game of play calling. The run game, I don't think it's really going to matter for either team. But what I'm expecting, Mark, I'm expecting to see some amazingness in the passing game for both teams. I'm expecting a shootout.
Hmm.
That's not what the Bucks want it to be, but I think that's the Bucks' game plan. It's to sling the ball 45 times.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Well, we'll see what it is going to be, man. I don't. Uh, I personally don't have the Bucks. Neither do you. But certainly do have them as having a shot in the game. So therefore, it's going to be a good game. And you're absolutely right. I didn't take into account that the possibility of Andy Reid all of a sudden becoming conservative with the lead. Because that certainly could end up being it could be their downfall as him becoming conservative with the lead. So I definitely don't want to see that.
yeah, what one thing that I think doesn't get spoken about very often about Andy Reid is Andy Reid. Everybody talks about Andy Reid's record after a bye week. You know what it is. I don't need to say what it is.
Hmm.
But I notice his playoff bye weeks are a little bit different. He might still get the dub, but boy, does he come out slow.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. Like, here's the thing. After his play record after a bye week is one thing, but this was a bit eye catching. Was that the Chiefs are 29-1 with Eric Fisher starting, and with Eric Fisher out, they are 3-3.
Whew.
That
Hey, you know what? That could be the deciding factor, like I said. But this is just another weight that Patrick Mahomes is going to have to carry. It's something that he's going to have to overcome when dealing with this. So, well, like I said, we'll see. But I'm expecting. I'm the one thing that I'm actually going to be excited to watch, Mark, outside of the presumed shootout, is going to be. I'm trying to see what it looks like. Uh, Todd Bowles, versus Eric Bieniemy
mm-hmm.
play calling should be very interesting.
Well, we certainly will see and find out what it's going to be. But, well, I don't know, man. It'll be great. I can't wait to watch it.
Yep.
Well,
All right. So I mean, unless you got something else that you want to talk about, Mark, because I was going to say something about the NBA, but I feel like it's absolutely pointless at this point at this time.
um,
So
yeah, I don't have anything else I want to say right now. Well, I'm going to say this. I haven't seen the game yet, so I can't speak to it. But it looks like the Brooklyn Nets pulled out a tough one in regulation. Um, by the way, against the Clippers, 124-120.
a lot of people saying that the Clippers look like the best team in the league right now.
Mm, Sixers at full strength is a problem.
I said right now, Mark. I don't know what you want me to tell you. I
I'm
said right now.
I'm just letting it be known.
I
Sixers at
said
full
I said
strength is a
right
problem.
now. You know what I'm
But
saying?
okay,
I thought I was specific about it, but
okay,
I'm just saying that this is a great win.
it is. No, it's an excellent win. Harden had a triple. Like from what I'm reading stat wise, Harden had a triple double, 23-point triple double. His player efficiency may not be all that great though. He was 1 of 6 from three, but he was 7 for 15 overall. So he was uh, his true
Making everything except for his threes.
yeah. So he made everything except for his threes, and particularly Kyrie had 39 points. He was like 15 for 23 or something like that. So he was like he had an excellent game, and KD had a great game. So altogether they did what we were talking about before that they should be doing in regulation, which is average between the three of them averaging 90 points. Um, so that's I mean I can't speak to the ins and outs of the game yet because I haven't seen it, but just looking at it statistically, I'm like, okay, I see that they did what they were supposed to here. So
I'll throw one little thing out there. I haven't looked at the numbers in totality or crunched any numbers, but just from what I've been seeing night in and night out, Kyrie Irving is having a career year
yeah,
with point totals, with shooting efficiencies, everything. He's having a career year. Um, and I wanted to point that out. He's having a career year, and he looks great, and he's doing a lot of the things that some of the things that I didn't think he was capable of doing. Not capable of doing consistently. Mark, I didn't think that his this high of a level of play with this level of consistency was going to happen.
right.
But with that said, it really sucks to see all of this effort and all of these performances between these three guys go up and then have them barely squeaking out victories. Well, they beat the Clippers this time, but you know what I mean. Like
Mhm.
them having their losses to Cleveland, the victories against Miami. I feel like I would like to see this team get to a point of efficiency to where they don't. I guess I want to see the other guys get involved, which they have been getting involved a lot more now. But I like to see the other guys get involved to the point to where maybe these guys can take a step back from having to literally grind out the entire game just to make sure they get a 5 point victory.
Well, you and I both discussed that it's early. Um,
It is early.
it's early. It's early both ways. It's early to say that this is working, and it's too early to say that this isn't working. But we've seen it. And so far we've seen it both ways. We've seen it to where the things that we've cautioned about why things that they should look out for and why it wouldn't work, and we've seen it to where we've like, okay, this is why people were excited for it. We've seen it both ways so far.
Yeah,
So it's just about which side will win out. Like, will they start to falter, or will they overcome what's going on?
yeah.
Uh, that's bad.
Well. To be real, like anytime you put a bunch of pieces together, and anytime a new team is kind of formed, Um, I think people are spoiled by certain things that they've seen in the past, and I also think they're not remembering how certain things happened in the past. Boston was one of those situations where it just clicked. Miami was a situation where they started off really slow, like they were bad. They had a losing record, like 28 games into the season when LeBron first went to Miami. People forget that. People forget that. They had issues. People when they were losing, people were concerned about who was going to be the finisher. When they were winning, they still didn't know who the fucking finisher was going to be, but nobody was concerned anymore. So I think that we won't know what their identity. They won't know what their identity is yet until they get towards the end of the season. And this is a short season, so that's something that I'm going to be paying attention to because it's a short season. I don't know if it's enough games of them playing together for them to be able to gel fully 100%. But what I do know is in the case of throwing these teams together, you have to work out your kinks. You have to work out your lineups. And you have to develop an identity. And those three things is something that didn't happen LeBron's first year when he went to LA.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a big reason why they didn't have success. It wasn't just solely because LeBron got hurt. You know what I mean? Because he came back and they still looked like they didn't have a lineup. They looked like they didn't have the chemistry. They didn't have, they didn't have an identity. Um, Part of that because of how many players were in and out of the lineup, all these other things. But all in all, it doesn't matter if you have all your players there or not. If you don't have your rotation set, if you don't have an identity of what you guys are coming in there to do, some teams say we're going to come in here to impose our will on defense. Some people are coming in to say we're going to impose our will on offense. Some people are coming in to say, look, we're going to play ultimate team ball and kill you that way. Some people say we're going to kill you with 3-pointers. I don't think this team has an identity yet, but I also think that's because of the amount of time that they've had to play with all three of them has been reduced. People have been missing games. KD's sat out. Harden has sat out. Kyrie has sat out. It's going to take time. It is what it is. So it's not fair to judge them for what they are right now because they don't even know what they are right now. They don't even know who they are. What they are right now is a team that has three superstars that can basically beat any team on any given night, but also seems to look like, because of the things that I spoke about, they could possibly lose to any team on any night. Yeah. So once they develop some type of consistency, we'll be able to judge better.
Yep. Well, is that it, sir?
That's it. You know what I'm saying? I kind of took the lead on everything else, man. But you know what? In the sense of tradition, I'm gonna go ahead and let you do the outro here, Mark.
Oh no! If you want to do it, you gotta finish it. You gotta do it all, my guy. You gotta do it all. Finish it off, man.
It is what, man. Look, man. I feel like we had a great episode. Thank you everybody for joining us. For those that have, for those that don't know, we have orders of hoodies, of eye test hoodies, coming to a few of our listeners and viewers. If anybody is interested in that and you did not get in on this current order that is going out now, please hit us up. You can follow us. You can find us on social media, the Eye Test Network, on everything. Basically, if you can find us on social media by the Eye Test Network, hit us up, DM, Facebook Messenger, by any means necessary. Make a post on the Facebook page. Hit us up. Let us know that you're interested in purchasing official Eye Test hoodie. There will be black. Let us know what size you want. All that stuff. They're going for $40. But shout out to all the people that purchased one. Outside of that, Mark, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate you not retaliating against me when I questioned your morality and your ethics, earlier in the beginning of the intro. I couldn't help but notice that you took the high road,
Yes. It's what I do, baby.
It's not what you do, but it's what you did today, Mark. It's what you did today.
Okay.
But yes, Mark has a saying when he leaves the show. But what I'm going to tell you is, if you fuck with us, you know that Mark is always wrong. All right. We'll catch you guys later.
We all know that's incorrect. All right, man. Peace.
Yeah.